Hey, what up, everybody? We are back with another modern video. It's been a little bit, but it's modern season. It starts officially this week. Yes, it's going to be Easter weekend, but what better way for this format to kind of rise back to its competitive glory than with people getting some hopeful RCQ wins? And what better way to win than with the deck that has stayed around the top of the modern format for the last couple of years at this point in Boros Energy. Now, this deck is a fairly stock version, so not too much to go through that we haven't already gone through before. Got some Flages, got some Ajani's, got Ragavans and Bombardments, Ocelot Prides and Guidasouls. I mean, what more is there to say? The deck does what you want it to do. You make a bunch of tokens, you dome with some damage from Ajani, you dome with some damage from Flage, you fling your creatures at your opponent for lethal with Goblin Bombardment. It's basically the exact deck that you would want it to be. The one thing that kind of differs between this version and some of the other versions we've played on the channel at different points, it's running two copies of Blood Moon because obviously Titan's out there, three copies of Season Pyro, and three copies of Voice of Victory because you really want to stop your opponent from trying to interact and do things on your turn. And you don't necessarily want a top deck Season Pyromancer a non-zero amount of the time. 22 lands, about normal. It fluctuates between about 21 and 23 depending on how low your curve might end up being. Sideboard, about what you would expect too. A couple copies of Wrath of the Skies for the opposing decks, like ours, some Esper shenanigans, Jeskai shenanigans, Stony Silence to deal with all the artifact decks, High Noon to shut down Storm, Celestial Purge again for the mirror match for all the black decks. We've got some Obsidian Charmos to beat down the Eldrazi decks, Wear Tear for problematic artifacts and enchantments, Vexing Bauble to stop all the free spells, really good against Affinity if you could somehow get it on turn 1, and Surgical Extraction to go and kill some combo pieces in your opponent's deck. But that's everything. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, it means a lot. Thank you to everyone who's stuck around this long. Thank you to the people who are starting to come through because of the YouTube shorts. Share the video around. Make some comments. Let me know what you guys want to see. And maybe we can do some more. But until that point, let's go ahead and silence that subscribe button. You don't need it to show up with all types of weird. You should already be subscribed. But hey, I can't blame you. Alright, I'll see you guys in match number 1. Alright, match number 1, we're going to be on the draw, but this is honestly a keepable hand. Like, if we hit any fetch land, we are so good. And the fact that we can go guide on 1 definitely feels nice. Alright, so it looks like our opponent is doing the same thing as us. We're going to start with this Guide of Souls. I kind of don't want them to hit us with this Ragavan, but it might be good to. We just gotta kill it. We gotta kill it. As good as it would be to just let it go, we can't Anna our way through this. Or I guess Elsa our way through this. Okay, so they fetch, get a... What? They're gonna get a Surveil land. Oh. Opponent's doing Jeskai things. Okay. Jeskai kept it on top. So just splashing blue for... What? Exerting it. Ah. Casey. Casey Jones. Forgot about Casey Jones being a card. Okay. Brutal that we're getting hit like that, but what else can we expect? We're going to go ahead and let's get a... Let's go ahead and get a Sacred Foundry here. We're going to go to 12. That's fine, though. I want them to use their cards to do this, but at the same time, I don't want them to get anything else off of this. They would have to use their mana for that, but it's fine. Totally fine. Alright. So we cast the Flage. It's gonna die. Oh, they evoke Solitude. Getting rid of Prismatic Ending. Okay. So we gain a ton of life there, actually. That's a huge point swing in our favor. Alright. Opponent's Casey trigger goes on the stack. They get rid of a bunch of things. They discarded a Flage, which is really bad for us to see. And then next turn, they're going to be able to get this Flage out and swing hard. We need a miracle right now. Okay, 2, and you took a Galv Discharge off the top of our deck. Don't mind losing that. Oh, I feel like a champ right now. Alright. You don't have anything. You don't have anything. You don't have anything. Oh, you didn't have anything. Hot dog. Alright. There's a Ragavan. What you got? I don't think you're going to haste out your Ragavan again. It doesn't make sense. So, unless you just have a Prismatic Ending? Okay. Prismo goes hard. And Hasty Monkey. Ooh, ooh. Ah. Alright. Ragavan takes a Flooded Strand off the top of our deck. And then you pass. Okay. So we are going to play this Guide of Souls. Play a Johnny. Pass the turn. After we do all this. Make some triggers. Gain some energy. Gain some life. Alright, you got Ragavan and 2 unknowns. What you doing, opponent? What you doing? Okay, opponent just slams a Flage and takes out our Ajani, which is rude. Alright, Ragavan, and then 1 card left in hand. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm kind of comfortable just... We need to get out this. That way we can give our creature spells haste. Do this. No one cares about that Goblin Bombardment. What matters is this. Voice of Victory, hitting the battlefield, and then we can move to combat, swing at our opponent, mobilize 2, and then we're honestly just going to go ahead and kill this Ragavan because why not? Alright, and yield through all of these abilities. We're going to send this Guide of Souls flying just to make it harder on them to kill our stuff. And if Voice of Victory dies, it dies. We're actually super okay with that. Sure, -1 damage. It's fine, though. I think we're in a pretty commanding position from this point. It was just hitting that land that really shifted things in our favor. Okay, opponent is going white, white. Okay. Are you going to play another Casey? Another Casey would be crazy. Ooh. Ooh. This is a lot bigger. Oh, it's a Solitude. Okay. Okay. You got it, homie. Now, I'm actually okay with that. I will shoot you. And... oh yeah, it has haste. It can attack me. You know what? Sure. I'll let you have that, opponent. Yeah. Mmm. Neat. Okay. Yeah. So this was just a series of punts on our part. Series of unfortunate punts. Alright. Can we hit something relevant here? Alright. Shoot that back to the graveyard. Okay. Elegant Parlor is actually going to be great. Another Elegant Parlor is going to be far from great. And we're just going to run this back. Alright, what is opponent top deck? A Steam Vents. Ooh. Ragavan and a Johnny is actually an insane combination of cards, because now it's just tap that for red, give these haste, and then we start casting our spells. Alright, a Johnny comes down. Okay. Okay. Casting this. You don't have anything that you can do. I was a little worried. But, you know, taking game actions. Sick. I mess with it. Mmm. Only we could warp that. Alright. Let's shoot you. Kill this cat. Flip a Johnny. Do things. Yep. A Johnny flips. We're gonna win. Off of an activation and a bunch of sacrificing. Cool. Okay. Opponent, you're dead. You're dead. Thank you. Alright. Absolutely threw that game one, but we got there. Alright, let's sideboard against Jeskai Energy, Jeskai Flage. Things, that's for sure. Alright, we probably want to bring in these Sea Purges because they are super good. We probably want to bring in the Wrath of the Skies or this Surgical. And I think that may be everything that we want to bring in. Alright, these Ragavans are going to be bad on the draw. So we can take out 3 of them. These Blood Moons can actually put in work. Is Static Prison going to be that great? I don't know if it is. We'll drop Static Prison and a Bombardment. And then run it just like that. Alright, game number 2. We're going to be on the draw with a very reactive hand, but a very good hand. I like the way that this hand will work for us. Okay. So, opponent fetches. They're just getting a Sacred Foundry, which is interesting. Shocking it in and getting a Ragavan. Okay. So, the smart thing for me to do would just be to pass here. Now, opponent's going to crack. We're just going to crack him with Ragavan for 2. I'm going to crack and fetch with this. And I'm just going to go ahead and end this Ragavan's whole career. 1. And keep some energy. Alright. Arena of Glory. Now, again, the problem is we could do a lot here. The options that we have are either... Ooh, Felia. Okay. Felia is not necessarily one that I expected at this point. That makes things a bit difficult. That being said, they're only on Boros right now. But they are going to draw a bunch of cards. Okay. So we're getting 1 Casey trigger. Then we're going to get another Casey trigger. This actually looks really bad for us right now. Okay. Wrath of the Skies, however, is the top deck that we need. Okay, so opponent went up to 9 cards. Let's see what they discard here. If they discard a Flage, I'll actually want to exile it. Okay, so they did discard Flage. Let's go. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to start by casting Wrath of the Skies X equals 3. Technically X equals 1, but we're using the extra energy we had left over. Then we are getting rid of that Flage with our surgical extraction. Wow. Consign, Quantum, and Sea Purge. Okay. And you're only running 3. You've got another Casey. You've got Strict Serenade. You got a Ragavan in your deck. Okay. Okay, opponent. I see you. I see you. Alright. So they can't actually cast that Consign right now either, which is insane. They get rid of everything except for that Thundering Falls? Oh. Okay. Well, that makes things very interesting for us. Alright. These are being played. You've got 1 card in hand. What can you play that would be threatening to us in this spot? 2 cards in hand. Okay, there's Galvanic on a Johnny. 1 card left. And Prismo is pretty brutal too. Okay. Well, now I definitely feel like we have to do this. So, we're casting this season Pyromancer. We're going to discard our Flage, and let's go ahead and discard the Voice of Victory here. We're not too pressed about any counter spells, and I mean, next turn is just play Blood Moon, and we maybe stop them from doing anything for the rest of the game. We play Blood Moon, and we might just stop them from doing anything. Okay, Wrath of the Skies. Yep, you do your thing, opponent. You do that thing. Anyway, here's a Flage instead, and opponent scoops it up. Let's go. Alright, I'll see you guys in match number 2. Alright, match number 2. We're going to be on the play with a relatively keepable hand. We're going to try it out. It's a little land heavy, but I think we can manage it just holding this Voice of Victory like we are. And I mean, most of these are fetch lands, so we're definitely just clearing things out of the deck anyway. Let's start by just fetching, and I think we're just going to get a Plains here and play this Ocelot Pride out and pass to our opponent. So they go Spire Bluff, probably means they are playing something wild here. Let's go ahead and do this. And then we will go ahead and fetch out a Sacred Foundry this time. And we're going to play this. Spire Bluff probably means that they're either Affinity or maybe Prowess. But I know next turn, if we get the full ability to swing with this Ocelot Pride, we're going to be able to go and do everything that we want. Opponent just surveils and does nothing. Interesting. So, part of me wants to go ahead and just play out this Ajani. We will play out the Elegant Parlor, I feel like is the move. Yeah. Surveil, definitely send that to the graveyard. And we will swing. Big old board. We hit the City's Blessing, and then the kitty will bless us. Alright, so we will put this on the stack so that the Ocelot Pride resolves first. We make all the tokens, and then those two get sacrificed. This was a solid turn 3 for us. An opponent scoops it up. Love that for us. Alright. So we didn't see a whole lot of what our opponent's doing. We literally saw 2 cards. We're gonna have to operate under the assumption that they are some type of blue, red, maybe a control-ish style deck. High Noon's definitely a possibility. These Sea Purges also seem really neat. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Blood Moons out. And there's maybe some logic to bringing in High Noon. It doesn't seem like we're going to need to bring in these Stonies because they didn't show us anything. It could honestly just be the Purge, and then we maybe run it. Yeah, I think we'll do just that. Purge and run it back. Alright, so game number 2. We are... We're going to be on the draw. So maybe this hand is fine. It's a little reactive, which I think is something that we're okay with. They shock in Steam Vents and then they just pass. Wow, okay. Let's go for the Flooded Strand and say go. I kind of wonder what they're doing if their hands are this slow. Because certainly it couldn't be anything dizzyingly fast. Okay. Okay, they go for the Pinnacle Emissary, so it's definitely just Affinity. Let's go ahead and shock this in. And we're going to go ahead and kill that before they ever get a chance to do anything with it. And... Alright, opponent can keep going off. Hopefully that actually stifled a little bit of their turn, and it looks like it did. We're going to go ahead and throw this Arid Mesa on the battlefield, get a Surveil on the end step. Drawing the Flage was good, so it's either we have something to kill a creature on their board, or we can pitch it to Season Pyro and get a token. Okay. Would have been real nice. We're just going to go ahead and fetch with this on the stack. That's definitely brutal. Alright, no arena. Alright, opponent. Do what you want. Alright, we're going to go ahead and... Well, here's a Flage at your face. Or at your drone, actually. We definitely want to take out the drone here, because that's just keeping them off of the affinity so that they can't cast their Kappa Cannoneer, or improvise, I guess. It's the same mechanic when you really think about it. Ooh, there's an Urza Saga. Alright, well, there's EE, and there is the Kappa Cannoneer. Okay. What do we want to do here? I guess what we want to attempt to do is to get all of this stuff out and maybe just make it as inconvenient as possible. We might be able to race our opponent to a certain extent here. Alright. Always yes. Always yield. Now the question is, what card do we get rid of here? I think it's got to be Thraben Charm in that, because we do have a lot of good hits. And Ajani is a very good hit. Okay. So we can Ajani and hope that we can gain a good bit of life. This Kappa Cannoneer is going to start beating in for a lot of damage. And maybe it wasn't as smart for us to get rid of that Thraben Charm. Honestly, we could have held a land a little bit to maybe get there. Oh, they're a skateboard gamer. They're kick flipping off of our heads. That's so sick. Alright, can't be blocked. 7/6. Alright. They hit us for 7. They're going to potentially throw 2 more things there. Now, the problem is, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we can actually pull it off, which is crazy for us to think about. Alright, let's start by doing this. If they don't have Metallic Rebuke, we're fine. Alright, Galv Blasting, that's really, really good. Really good for our opponent there. Alright. Well, let's see, this is 3, 5. Alright, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Real close. Real close there for us. But they've only got 1 card in hand. We're going to do this. We're going to swing in just like that. Send these at our opponent's face. and then next turn we can specifically a Johnny and maybe get there. Our opponent can only kill our 0-drops, which is huge. Alright, they make a construct. That's 8. I think we might actually get there, which is crazy. Alright, Mox Opal. That's 9. That's 10. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We did not get there. Okay, never mind. Just rewind that one back. Alright, cool. So, we got Affinitied. We got Affinitied hard. Alright, so that Vexing Bauble comes in. This Wrath of the Skies comes in. The Stonies come in. And honestly, these Wear Tears come in too. Alright, the Sea Purges are bad. Is Ragavan that good here? Ragavan gets blocked by basically everything. And that Galv Discharge was actually really fire. Let's go ahead and drop... I can't really drop a Thraben Charm there. We'll drop the Bombardment and then we can run that. Alright, game number 3. We're going to be on the play. And... hand's not great. Hand's better. This hand is a lot better. The question is, what do we want to get rid of? I think, weirdly enough, it's probably this Bombardment. Because we can just do everything else. And having the Guide of Souls here could be good, but I think we want to maybe hold off. Alright, so we're going to do that. Alright, opponent's just going to pass. That's great for us. Alright. Guide of Souls and then we're passing. Opponent goes Thundering Falls tapped. And what are they going to surveil? They keep it on top. Okay. Tormod's Crypt. That's a hot one. Tormod's Crypt. Twice as nice. Mox Opal. They're just going to Kappa. Oh, you're just Kappa-ing. Yeah. Yeah. That is a beat stick right there. Yeah, there is a lot of beef on this table. Alright, so we can definitely just play that, and we gotta gain a lot of life just to come out from under this thing, which is scary for us. Bauble is a redraw for the opponent. They get to look at the top card of our library. That top card is not going to be super relevant in about 2 seconds, though. Alright, do your thing, do your thing. And we're going to surveil. Alright. And that's a terrible card. That's on the bottom, or in the graveyard. Okay. Thraben Charm is interesting. However, I don't think it's going to be the exact card that we want to have at this moment. Alright, so does it resolve? No counter spells? Yeah, it's getting countered. Alright. Welp. You know what? That's about the worst that we could have had happen to us. Alright, opponent. Do you think? Can you kill us? You probably can. Weapons manufacturing? Oh no. Claws of Gix? Oh no. Alright, so that's 7. That's 8. That is 9, 10. Do you have another one? Okay. Well, we cannot crack this fetch now, which is just scary. Okay. Actually, though. Actually, though. Okay. Okay, hold up. Can we get there? The answer is no. I actually don't think we can get there. We need so much to work out here for us, and I don't think it's going to go the way that we want it to. Okay. Voice of Victory is... Okay. Dealing 2 damage to that. Well, opponent, how do you feel about me just doing this? And then none of this mattering. Because I'm still going to die anyway. Yeah, this is only putting us up to 7. We still die. Okay, GG's. Alright, see you guys in match number 3. Alright, after some connecting issues from our opponent, we're going to start up match number 3, and I honestly think this hand's okay to keep. It's a bit reactive, but we can kill some stuff. Okay, we're just going to get burned out. Sick. Alright, let's go ahead and crack that. Fetch this mountain and send it to our opponent. Alright, what are they gonna do? They're shocking in a Sacred Foundry. And moving to combat. Beginning of combat. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Oh. Nope. No responses? Sick. Just let it resolve. Alright. They go Bolt Wave and Lava Spike. Good God. Alright, well, we're going to cast this Ragavan. And I guess we're just going to play out this Sacred Foundry tapped and let it go. We need a lot to go well for us here. No Boros charms, nothing crazy like that. Just gas. Okay. I need this Ragavan to connect. I need it to connect so badly. Okay. Rift Bolt. Rift Bolt is pretty good for our opponent to have. No shot they have main board Skull Crack, right? No way. We don't believe it. It'll never happen. to see it. You really do. You absolutely hate to see it. Oh, that is just the worst. And you can only suspend it from your hand. So fine. You get the card. It stays in exile. You don't have Bolt. I really just need to stop opening my mouth. That would be great. Skullcrack. Cool. Bolt. Skewer. Yep. Yep. Neat. Sick. Love it. Top notch. Alright, cool. So, lost that one. Let's see what we can do in the sideboard. What do we want here? The answer is High Noon. High Noon 100% is just the card that we need. Is there maybe some logic to Celestial Purge? Maybe. But not that much. Blood Moon, terrible. Everything else, it's acceptable. You never want to overboard against Burn. If you have life gain in your sideboard, take that all day. Is there maybe some logic to getting rid of this Static Prison? That way we can bring in Wear Tear? Maybe. But I doubt they're going to be running Eidolon of the Great Revel, and we've got plenty to deal with that. Alright. We're going to be on the plate for game number 2. It's fine. It's fine. We only have to lose 2 life here. It's Ragavan. And then maybe Season Pyro next turn, depending on what everything looks like out of our opponent. Like, if this monkey lives, we're so good. If it doesn't, we're so cooked. Alright. So, putting some pressure on the opponent, they're probably going to want to do something turn 1, either kill the monkey or just put a creature on the board. And if the creature does nothing, then I feel like we can commit to just playing the Voice of Victory off of the Ragavan. Okay. So Ragavan bites the dust. Ooh, that's actually huge for us. So we're going to start with this Voice of Victory. And then next turn, we're going to play this Guide of Souls and maybe even just play this Galv to get the Voice out of Bolt range. Because they have to kill this. If they have the mana, they have to kill this. They don't bring that in untapped. They just play Guide. This is gigantic for us. Alright. And this is classic Burn, too. I'm actually living for this right now. Okay. So that, we're going to go ahead and kill you. That does not need to live more than it already has. And opponent scooped it up. They just immediately concede to that. Holy. Wow. Okay. Well, we run it back. And hope that we can pull that off again. Okay. Game number 3. We're going to keep this hand. It doesn't have the removal like we want, which is unfortunate. We're going to take just a ton of damage here. Alright. Alright. Going to 17. We've basically bolted ourselves. Let's play this Ocelot Pride. Don't like that. Things are looking icky. Alright, so the question is, do we block or do we just take the attack for 2 here? Because attack for 2 can put us down to 7, and they've got a lot of cards in hand. We revealed this Sacred Foundry. And if they don't do anything... Oh. Oh. Speaking of not doing anything... Okay. Well... I mean, surely. Surely. You're going to deal with our Ocelot Pride. You mana tithe this? You have mana tithe in your sideboard? Big dog. What? Murdercleese. What? Okay. Taylor. Which is the bigger threat, Taylor or Goblin Guide? It's probably Taylor, right? Okay, reveal Voice of Victory, that's fine. It's definitely just Taylor. Alright, we're fetching and getting a mountain. Okay. You don't have another mana tithe. You don't have another. I don't believe it. It's not there. It's not real. You skullcrack. Okay. Skullcrack there is actually huge. Okay. So, Skullcrack represents that we don't gain life here. I actually feel like we need to just keep this Ocelot Pride back now on, like, blocking duty. Now, what's good is if we throw it on blocking duty and it dies, we can just haste out this Flage and basically come back and win the game at that point. But we need our opponent to make that choice. And the thing is, I don't think they will. Oh. Oh no. Opponent looked like they were about to... Okay, okay. They just go Sacred Foundry. They just go Sacred Foundry. We're okay. Worried for a second. Alright. Thraben Charm. Thraben Charm, I like. Okay. We're going to swing in with this Ocelot Pride. The kitty is on attacking duty. Now the problem is, this opponent could just have a ton of 1 mana burn spells and just blow us out here. Like, blowing us out here is a very real possibility. Okay, first strike damage. First strike went through. And then we go ahead and just shoot it for the rest of the damage. And then we make some blockers. And then we get put in a good spot. This is a very technical match. Now, obviously, gaining the life is going to swing it in your favor, but you have to play tight here in order for this match to look any amount of good for you. All right, the Kitty's trigger. Nowhere close to Kitty's blessing, but Kitty's trigger. Boros charm. Okay, we're super dead. We're super dead. 3 burn spells and we're dead. Oh, we got there. All right, love that for us. See you guys in match number 4. All right, match number 4, and we're going to be on the play. And, hand is a little rough. I think we're going to keep it, though, if only because if we hit a land off the top, this hand goes off. We're going to start with a Ragavan, because if it lives, then even if we don't hit a land, we can still kind of do the thing. And we're playing Titan. And they hit a Grazer. And we're so cooked. Oh, this was such a bad keep. Holy cow. This was such a terrible keep. Alright, well, there's the Guide of Souls, and yeah. Yeah. Alright. So, blue-green, you can probably just... Oh, Amulet. That's... Okay. Port of Carfell. That is some tech that I have not seen in ages. Wow, okay. So, no lands yet again. Probably means that we're not winning this match. If I had to just hazard a guess. They've got at least the one land I know about. Okay, there's an Urza Saga. Definitely not the best land for us to see either. Okay. That is something. Okay. We can take that. We're absolutely going to send this Ocelot Pride flying at the opponent. Well, is it Ocelot Pride or is it Ragavan? I actually think it might be Ragavan here. Taking some extra cards off of the top of their deck could be really fun. They can just Otawara one of these things back. Okay, first strike damage. Yerp. Alright, there goes all of that stuff. We do get to make some energy here, which will be nice. Not hitting land 3 turns in a row is definitely a beating. Otawara that back to the hand, that's also rough. Okay, so... Saga, play the Crumbling Vestige, get all of that, make some color. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the Titan. Oh, that's Lumra? Neat. Okay, so what's gonna happen here? A lot of things. Opponent's gonna start throwing some triggers around. They're gonna make a lot of mana. Opponent has 2 mana floating, and they just skip through that. Okay. Wild. Wild stuff for our opponent there. I mean, do you have another one? Because if you don't, then I feel like we still kind of lose here. Like, I don't think we're in a good spot by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, we will definitely use this to pump up the Ocelot Pride. There's a bunch of damage coming at you. Okay, we took a Gruul Turf off of their deck. Well, I guess now we just play a Johnny, because if they do nothing and pass on this next turn, which they shouldn't do, for sure, then... Ooh, yield to all energy generating abilities. That's a new thing on Magic Online. Alright, well, if they don't do anything here, we can just play this other Ajani and win. Alright, let's see what the opponent does. Alright, Urza Saga triggers go off. They're gonna get another amulet. It's only reasonable. They got 4 cards in hand, and I know none of them, which is pretty scary for us. Okay, opponent activates their Port of Carfell, and they can get back Formidable and Grazer. They get back Formidable. They throw a Bajuka Bog away, getting a Titan, I guess. And then... Okay. Play Lotus Field. Lotus Field will tap, untap. You make enough mana to cast a Titan, and then you can start doing things, but let's see if they do the right things. They're still going off, but they also have a Valakut on the battlefield, so now I'm just kind of waiting for them to show me the Dryad so that we can move on to game number 2. Okay, they showed me the Dryad. Sweet. Now I can concede. Yes, please, get me out of this game. Alright, so we're up so much on clock. I just needed the opponent to show me I'm not going to try to scum him out of this. Let's go ahead and bring in the Surgical. And what else do we honestly want? Wear Tear's probably fine. As much as I want to bring in Charmaw, I don't think it's actually going to be that good. We can definitely drop these Galvanics. Vexing Bobble's a possibility. High Noon definitely ain't worth it. Wrath of the Skies actually could be. Yeah, we'll bring in Wrath. We'll bring in a couple Wrath of the Skies, and we'll drop that Static Prism because it's not doing what it should either. And then run it like that. Alright, game number 2. We're going to be on the play. God, this hand could have been so much better. I don't want to play this hand. We'll keep it. I mean, turn 3 Blood Moon and then being able to keep a Blood Moon is pretty decent. We want an extra land. It's just so slow. It is just dumb slow. But, like, it does things. Okay. So we're going to Elegant Parlor, hope to hit a land, and hopefully just like a fetch land so we can get a white source, or Ragavan. Ragavan. Okay, Amulet on 1 is bad. That is awful for us. Alright, we're going to go ahead and... actually, let's just dash. No? Can we even dash Raggy? I think we do. I think we dash Raggy and... Let's see what opponent's rocking with here. Alright, we took another Saga off the top. I don't want to lock them with a Saga on 2, unfortunately. Like, that's really strong for our opponent to have. Like, Saga on 2 goes crazy. Especially if they can keep it around forever. Because not being able to get rid of that ability is going to cook us. Alright. They just tapped it to play another Amulet of Vigor. Okay. Make 4. Are you going to bounce it back to your hand? You gotta, right? There's no shot you would bounce this Urza Saga back. But they could. And that's the scary part. Oh god, they're scape shifting for 1. They're gonna get Lotus Field. Make 6. No way we're getting turn 2 killed. No way we're getting turn 2 killed right here. No shot. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? At least that gets to stick in the video because I know there's some Titan players out there. Nope, they just Lumra. Okay. Okay. You're making... God, 8 mana now? Gross. Gross. Always gotta make sure that you stack it the right way so you can at least get the mana off of your Urza Saga. Alright. Make some red. Make some green. You gonna do it, opponent? No, you just have 8 red mana? Okay, now you're gonna make the green. Now you see the choice there. Oh my gosh. Turn 2ing is insane. But it's also Lumra. Vampire's Vengeance? Really? Okay, Crumbling Vestige. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That is about the worst spot that we could be in. Do we really want them to have 4 mana? They've got 4 mana and 2 cards. One of which we know of. I think we can be fine with this. I'm not too pressed about it. Okay. That was a strong turn too, though. Oh my god. Echoing Deep's making a copy of Lotus Field. Okay. Oh, wait, it's Urza Saga. Okay, never mind. Never mind. We're good. Alright, well. We swing through. Ragavan will hopefully connect. And all of this just to play a turn 4 Blood Moon when we didn't top deck anything else. This is vile and I hate it, but here we are. Alright, Urza Saga, it's a mountain with 1 counter. Neat. An opponent concedes. That was a game. Holy crap, that was a game. Alright, so we're just going to run it back. No changes. Alright, game number 3. We're mulling this hand. It doesn't have any hate whatsoever. This hand does have hate, and we're going to keep it. Just do all of this. We can Raggy on 1, which I definitely want. We can Wear Tear stuff on 2, which will be cool. Echoing Deeps into an Amulet of Vigor is definitely some plays. I don't know if they're strong plays by any stretch of the imagination, but they are plays. Alright. Are we about to get turn 2'd again? So far, it doesn't look like it. Green Sun Zenith, X equals 1. And there's the Arboreal Grazer. Yup. Alright. Bouncing the Echoing Deeps back to hand. Okay. Well, we've at least got a game going right now, which is huge. Drawing all of these Ragavans, however, does not make it a game. It makes it a pain. Such a pain. Alright. Well, good news is we've got a fetch land. Bad news is they've got blocks diamond. Great news is we have a way to kill their blocks diamond. But I do think that we need to save this, possibly. Nah. Nah. Yeah, we are actually going to save it. We can't reasonably get rid of this. Okay, Vampire's Vengeance, because they were expecting that to happen too. Yeah. Alright. They're not ready for this. But here comes Ragavan number 2. Alright, pass to our opponent. And they go for a Crumbling Vestige. Make a green. That green goes away. Okay. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, land next turn lets them go for Titan, which is going to be a pain. And then I guess we can just go for hope. Well, there's that. All right, here it comes. Titan. All right. We are probably going to die to this Primeval Titan now, because there's no way that we're going to be able to do everything that we want through a 6/6. Though that's twice the number. And 6 is technically twice what the number 3 is. So let's start by destroying that Primeval Titan. Alright, they're gonna block this Ragavan, which, unfortunate, but real. They'll take 3. We're at 17 all, but they're in a commanding position. Like, their deck does have a couple dead draws, but they can definitely tutor out of their dead draws a lot better than I can. Alright, they sent back the Vestige to their hand. And, well, that's one way to do this. Alright. Can you do it again, opponent? Can you do it again? Alright. And we have put them to 14. We know that they have a Crumbling Vestige in hand, and then they got a bunch of other random cards. Probably lands, if I had to hazard a guess. Alright, they replay the Vestige. They make a blue. They're going to transmute Teleria West. This will let them get a Summoner's Pact, Pact for Titan. Titan lets them do other things. Now, if they Primeval Titan here, what do we want to do? I think we'll want to swing, honestly, with both of these cats. I would love to see a world where we swing with both cats. They kill somehow this cat warrior and then leave the Ocelot Pride, but there's no universe where they do that. I'd also enjoy seeing a Flage here. Flaging down a Grazer and then just getting all manner of other things would be so good. Okay, they are killing our Johnny. That's not bueno. Huh. All right, Flage, Flage, Flage. Nope, don't want that. All right, what can we do here besides cry? Because they're just gonna start to really go ham. I think we're just gonna pass. Like, there's no reason for us to attack. I think we are just dead at this point, but we'll give it another turn. Maybe opponent's gonna do their thing, or maybe we just have to begrudgingly try and time them out as much as we don't want to. It's such a scummy way to win. But a win is a win on Magic Online, I guess. Alright, there's another Summoner's Pact. They're going to Pact for Dryad. Pact for Dryad, and then you're going to... Interesting that you would do that before anything else. You're going to go Valakut and the land that lets you copy, Vesuva, get some triggers. Yup. Deal some damage to us. Yup. And honestly, let's see. It's 5. You know what? Yeah, we'll block that. No reason for us not to. They have the win on board. Well, had the win on board. Had they done things? Okay. Yeah, we're just dead. Cool beans. Alright, see you guys in match number 5. Alright, match number 5. We're going to be on the play. And this hand could be better. It's a little slow, but I might want to try it. The Blood Moons can deal with a lot. We've got the Ajani Bombardment line that we can play. And just being able to surveil here is going to be pretty important. No turn 1 play is the thing that hurts the most. These are some risky keeps. But we got to risk it for the biscuit. Alright, we're going to put the Galv in the graveyard. And let's see what we can do. Opponent plays a Dark Slick Shore. Thoughtseize. Okay, a Johnny's probably gone. A Johnny is goney. Yeah. Alright, well, we're going for the bombardment. And if we lose to Demir mid, we lose. But at least it was on our terms. Alright, they're going for a Preordain. If they can draw out of a potential Blood Moon lock, which it looks like they are, and it looks like we are not drawing out of being landlocked. Call us Iraq, since we're landlocked? Yeah. Alright. And they have managed to work their way out of being landlocked. Okay. Well, we're just going to go ahead and cast this Ragavan because it will not live through a dash, I am fairly certain. And it might not even get to live on the stack. Okay. Well, that's certainly something. And opponent's going to crack that and fetch and get an island and cling to Dusty Ajani. That was definitely unexpected. Okay. Odawara. I mean, we can cut him off of black mana, which will be good. There's a frog. Alright. So we can deal... We could have dealt some damage, but instead we're just going to do this and hope that we can counter. There's a force of negation. Alright. Ragavan will swing. Can you do something about this? Okay. No counterspell. No counterspell. Let's go. Alright. Well, stressful little state there, but we managed to get there. We might be able to cut him off of black mana this turn, which will be huge. Let's just go for the Ajani. Okay. Okay. That was a lot of moves that our opponent had there. And we still get to keep this Ragavan. Okay, now we can no longer lock them under this Blood Moon. What are you doing? There's nothing that you have, right? Oh, clean to dust. I'm like, no. Surely not. Okay, well, now we're definitely just going to lock you underneath your Blood Moon, or with our Blood Moon. Okay. You now can no longer cast any... You can't cast multiple black spells. Okay, well, there's a land. Would have been a mountain. Now you're a Grixis deck. Okay. You took the Thraben Charm, which is a little worrisome. You wouldn't have a Subtlety, would you? Tamiyo. I think I can get behind playing Tamiyo. Alright. There's Tammy. There's a counterspell. Well, here's an extra moon. Because why not? I want to make sure you definitely can't kill our stuff. Then watch him hit the perfect card right here. Psychic Frog? Yep. Le Frog. Alright. Opponent. Do it. Block this Ragavan. Yep. Okay. Well, we're just going to keep passing. There's not a whole lot that we can do at this spot. We're both just stuck on top deck mode, which is really unfortunate. but it could be worse. All right, they pass. We're going to dash here. Does Dash Monkey resolve? Okay. Cling to Dust. Okay. Yeah. Cling that. Draw a card. And then we will take a card off of your deck. Ooh, Orky Bow. Love that. Love, love, love that for us. All right. Glad that we saw Bowman. So now this means that all of their Cling to Dust get punished just a little bit more. They can't cast multiple Orky Bows. They hit a land. Oh, Ocelot Pride is big for us. This is huge for us. Okay. You know what? We'll put that on top. All right. Ocelot Pride. Do your stuff. The great part is that they need any number of things besides that. They don't want to Orcish Bowmaster and draw cards because it'll put them in a really bad spot. Or they don't want to Cling to Dust and draw cards because it's going to put them in a bad spot with this Bowmaster. Ugh. Kaido. Kaido. Okay. We didn't lose life, so we're not doing anything with that. Alright, let's dash this at them. Yeah, it's definitely just dash at them, right? Dash and send everything at the opponent. They're going to block that. First strike. And then we let all that happen, and then we will shoot that. And then the dash trigger will go on the stack. Sadness will also go on the stack because the monkey is gone. Alright, thankfully we can deal with Kaido. We got lots of options. Or that can just happen. Alright, Bowmaster will kill their Bowmaster. Nobody gets tokens. Everybody's going to be sad about that. I mean, do I want to take some damage off of this Kaido? You know what? I actually think we can stand to take some damage off the Kaido. We kind of have to. They're going to draw. I don't know what they can hit here, but they can certainly draw something. They bin a subtlety? Oh. Spin a Subtlety, but get a Quantum Riddler? I don't know if that was the right choice, opponent. I don't know if that was the right choice. Okay. Okay. Yeah, those were choices all around. But I think we can be okay with the choice that we made there. What do we want against blue black mid range? I mean, Celestial Purge seems great. Surgical's not good. High Noon's not great. Wear Tear's terrible. There's, I guess, some logic for Wrath of the Skies. Do we want to keep this Blood Moon? It did put in work there. It cut our opponent off of a lot of things for a good chunk of the game. In fact, let's go ahead and drop the Wrath of the Skies, so we're only bringing in 2. Let's cut some Ragavans on the draw. And yeah, let's run it like that. Let's keep in both of the Blood Moons for now. See how that works out. Okay, game number 2. We can keep this hand Ocelot Pride double like Flage. Voice of Victory on 2 is going to go crazy if and when it sticks. An opponent mulligans to 6? Yeah. Okay, so Polluted Delta, fetching, getting that. Preordain. Preordain? Okay. Well, we're going to fetch, shock, get a kitty cat. Kitty cat, cat, cat. Alright, so Sephoric Springs. And you're letting it enter tapped? Okay. Let's move to combat. Because I don't think this opponent is going to let this Ocelot Pride hit them if they have a Dismember in hand. No, they let that one go? Okay. Alright. Surely. Surely this won't make it. That made it. Wow. Well, next turn I guess we're just gonna go off. We've got Season Pyro that will discard these Flages. We're gonna make a ton of tokens if they cannot answer this board. Alright, there's a Bowmaster, so that's part of the board being answered. We need to actually kill this Bowmaster before anything else happens. Which is unfortunate that it has to go down this way. And sure, we could definitely have done it any number of other ways. But it's fine that it went down like this. Alright. And swinging in for 4. Block the cat. Take some damage. Reasonable. Opponent now has a singular 1/3 to deal with. And a bunch of untapped mana to try and make that a reality. Or they could just play Kaido. The realest thing that they could do is just pass right here. Oh. Okay. Did not expect them to just go, like, main phase Undercity Sewer. 3 mana, 2 mana? Okay. Again, things I was not expecting out of this opponent. Let's do this. Okay. I don't think I expected to see Murktide. Demir Murktide has not been around in a minute. Alright, well, opponent's at 10. If we hit a fetch land and they don't get rid of this Voice of Victory, we win. If they don't get rid of this Voice of Victory, if we get to keep our Flage, like, there's just a lot that can happen here that'll be of benefit to us. No shot. No shot. It's just warping away? Okay, you can sign the trigger, that's fine. Fatal push that, that's fine. I mean, you have to have exactly subtlety here. Exactly subtlety. And nope, we win. Sick. Love that. See you guys in the wrap up. What can I say? We got there, punts and all. This deck is just the deck. This is the perfect modern deck right now. If you want to try and take down an RCQ and want to play pretty tight, play good, clean, honest games of Magic, this is the deck to do it with. It's had a lot of staying power, and while I might not agree with this particular 5-0 list, it has the job, it has the juice, and it's worth it. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.